of trauma. And I think that deep down, we like these people and we attach to these people and we want to know everything about these people because they are able to reach down into the human experience and separate themselves from it in a way of they have to lose this sense of shame or lose this sense of well, what will people think, and just say things as they are and reveal life as it is. And I think that's part of creativity. It's being truthful and honest and authentic and raw and real. So I love this message, and I really
get dressed up, let's go, get wet, let's roll.
a bit gory and off-putting. Just like our stories and our lives and our struggles are things we sometimes want to hide because there's good, bad, and ugly, gory, and off-putting. But I like to think of your struggle or your hustle as a placenta. A placenta is an organ that was born with us. It is sometimes called the afterbirth. It is the organ between every mother and every child, between every dream and every outcome, between anything we're ever inspired to do and how it turns out for us at the end. The placenta, in which lies life and triumph, struggle and hardship, turmoil and pain, and then light. Everyone gets excited about the baby, and sometimes we don't see value in the placenta, but the hospital does. If you live where I live, sometimes if you don't ask for your placenta, they take it. It has stem cells. It has all kind of different things in it. They keep the umbilical cord. It's a life source. The placenta has something on it called the tree of life. And if you look at, kind of crazy kitschy moms and home birthers and doulas and people like that, you'll see that they have art pieces that they paint these placentas and they print them. Similar to the way that you would keep your baby's footprint or handprint. These first locks of hair, these remnants of you. And I think the placenta is taken for granted very often. Sometimes we like people, but we don't know their struggle. We don't really know anything about them. Sometimes if you are that person that's in a certain spotlight, or you're trying to build a platform, or you're trying to do something for yourself or stand out, we as creatives, sometimes we want to talk about things that people relate to, and we don't necessarily want to be vulnerable. We as leaders sometimes don't want to get down to the nitty-gritty and be vulnerable and show ourselves as not only here I am, and this is what I'm doing, and this is why you should listen to me. And sometimes we forget that we are an amalgamation of things. The placenta is all the puzzle pieces, all the oxygen, all the blood, sweat, and tears that brought us to where we are. I call my placenta Born to Hustle. And I have written on it what I call a hustler's prayer, which I posted on my Instagram, I think, and my TikTok one time. It was just something I was thinking about. They were kind of like affirmations for myself, while including my identity and my background, and talking about the places that I'm from and the culture there, and coming up in a hustle culture, and resourcefulness, and always having to be a certain way. And so I wrote down this prayer and I made a video about it. And then as I thought about it more and more, I said, I'm going to make this piece. And when I use an organ, my hustle, I cannot describe as my heart. My hustle, I cannot describe as my lungs. My hustle, I cannot describe as my brain. It's deeper than that. It's something that some people want to throw away and not acknowledge because they're afraid of the perception or afraid of what other people would say. And it's something that sometimes other people really cherish. Some people are crazy. Some people dry down placentas and put them in pills. It's It's a superfood for some people. If you're kind of like a nature fanatic and you look at animals and what they do with what we call the afterbirth, you'll see that it's something really special. And I said this is it's ugly and it's strange, but we all have them. My sisters, both of my sisters, opted to do home births, and I thought it was beautiful. They get a doula, they get a midwife, or one of my sisters, she did it by herself. And I think this is the most beautiful thing between the mother and the child. You have all your expectations of this child, and you have all, the mother toils for her 9 months carrying the child, and then she labors, and then she has the baby. And yet, and still, there's this other thing that we cannot forget. There is the prize, and there is the glory, and there is the legacy, and there is everything in here, down to the nitty gritty, that made all of that possible. So when we look at people and we interact with people, we cannot forget that they have a story behind them, that they are not just this thing that, appeared or was planted somewhere with no origins. And that's what I love about the placenta. I showed this to my mother and she was like, oh my God, that is so scary. And, and it is raw and visceral and it's kind of strange, but even as I was making this, I had to do things that I'm not used to doing in my art. I do like to combine sculpting. I am a mixed media artist, and I usually do collage, but lately I've been sculpting a little bit more and trying to add sculptures to my pieces. This is a canvas. This is just a small canvas that I wanted to write on. I'm a hip hop artist and I do other genres as well. But one thing that I really love about hip hop, I love it as a culture, and I like to do graffiti. And I'm a writer, I'm a lyricist, but I like to add writing to my art always. Because yes, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I may have a reaction to the image and the visual part, but for me, I think the words are so necessary. And this is just a message to myself. This is not necessarily made for anyone else, but it's something that's special to me. And I like to think that even though sometimes I make something for my own fulfillment and my own benefit, that perhaps it can be valuable to other people. You never know who can be inspired by your way of thinking or, your process or your own life. And right now I'm practicing something that I call letting go of perfectionism, because I'm a person who has a tendency to get caught up in things being good and not things just being, and not seeing what comes out of something as I practice and I try. And I think that's the beauty of this. Even in my process, I use things. I went back to people talk about their inner child a lot, and I went back to my inner child and I said, I'm trying to do something and I have to solve this problem. I'm trying to make an umbilical cord. I'm not a silicone artist. I don't really know, or a latex artist, and I don't really know what to use to make this and to give this a look of, I would say, transparency, but also like skin, like a membrane. And I said, what is like a membrane? And I remembered, being a child and taking glue and putting it on your hands, and then you have the exact imprint of your skin. And it's not quite opaque. It's not completely opaque, but you still have like this thing. And I said, well, this is my project and this is a part of me. So I took my hand and I sat there for, I think, an hour or two with this glue smeared across the inside of the palm of my hand. Um, this is, your hands are who you are. It's like your feet are your lifestyle, your feet are your walk, your feet are your path, and your hands are who you are. And I took it after it dried, and I had cramps in my hands and all kinds of things from sitting there just still. I like to put myself as a part of my project. I like to call that performance art, even though I'm not doing it in front of other people. Maybe just my mother. But I still like to call it my performance art. And then all the more love that I have for pieces when I do things like that. And now I can see all the layers. I would show you. I will try to include close-up pictures of this. If I can get good pictures, I don't know, with my phone. So you can see the skin. You can see like my fingerprints in here. And there's even a hand. There's even a hand on the inside. These yellow kind of things are fingerprints. I took my hand and I covered it in paint and I painted under it. Then I did another layer on top and I wrote the words again. And I layered it again with another layer of paint and wrote the words over again. I think 3 or 4 times I wrote these words over and over like a reminder to myself. A labor and a toil, but for very good reason, because there's a prize at the end. And I will read you what it says. A hustler's prayer. Let me come to this side. My horizons are broadened, and for me there is no scarcity. My mind is always open to possibilities. My hands are always capable of opening doors that lead to opportunity. I refuse to be mediocre or complacent. I rebuke imposter syndrome. I continually build and refine my skill sets. I am blessed beyond measure. My resources are immense. Money finds me. Abundance abounds wherever I lay my hands. I will never waste my talents. I am competent. My ideas are divinely inspired. My Creator is glorified through my creativity and obedience. That is all I could fit on here of the Hustler's Prayer. Some of it was more specific to my life and my identity. But I think a lot of times we focus on productivity and purpose and people being in the exact places that they want to be right now, and not on the fact that there are different pathways and so many different ways that you can do things, and you can be multi-hyphenated. You don't have to choose just one thing, even though that is a traditional path. And so I decided to kind of do what is not necessarily traditional and show that in my art piece. Because if I ever had anything to say of myself, it's that I'm not traditional and I don't exactly do what is expected. My name is LeNoira, LENOIRA. And I was looking at NuJaxxMusic, NuJaxxMusic, Instagram account. And he made a video talking about creativity and artists and how they have deep stories and they blow up, they become mainstream, they get a lot of popularity, and they're so engulfed in this lifestyle. This is the birth, this is the baby, this is what I was waiting for, this is what I tilled and toiled for months, and I have this baby now, and this is my dream come true, and I totally forget myself and who I was before that. But he tells the story of this lady who, she gets into an accident, there's an explosion, and they have to graft her skin and reconstruct her face, and they use stem cells from a placenta, like remembering that struggle. He calls this video Creative Commandment 20, to stay rooted, to remember yourself, remember your story, remember what connected you to other people in the first place. Remember your humanity. Remember all those deep, dark, sometimes gory and scary parts of yourself. Sometimes beautiful parts, because they're what connects you to people. Fame and fortune is not something that, or whatever your idea of success is not always something that resonates with people. And sometimes it will not resonate with you either. I think, when you're an artist or creative, you can't get caught up in what everyone else wants from you and what everyone else likes. Sometimes you have to remember, why am I doing this? Do I make art because I have to? I'm driven to make art. Even if nobody hears this, even if nobody ever sees this, will I still do this? And so I thought their message was very important. They said, create your placenta, catalog your pain and your emotions, so that when you do blow, you can go back to that kind of creative placenta to renew your thoughts and also to reground you as an artist. That's their words, NuJaxxMusic. Our expression of our past is what creates us into who we are. The rest of life is a constant response to these powerful forces. When we lose touch with that, we can lose the refreshing and creative power it brings. And, as a creative, this is, a lot of people think that you have to be crazy, or you just have to be delusional, or you have to be wild. It's more than that. Or they say that people who want to be famous, they have a lot of trauma. And I think that deep down, we like these people and we attach to these people and we want to know everything about these people, because they are able to reach down into the human experience and separate themselves from it in a way of they have to lose this sense of shame or lose this sense of well, what will people think, and just say things as they are and reveal life as it is. And I think that's part of creativity, is being truthful and honest and authentic and raw and real. So I love this message, and I replied to NuJaxx. I said, me literally having a painting / sculpture of a placenta that talks about hustle and struggle and potential. And they said, I love this. Thank you for sharing this. When I was making this, I wasn't sure if I was going to put it out, because you get the feeling that some people may be like, ugh, you know. So your comment is super appreciated. And they asked me, to share what that symbolism means to me. And I did get the same reaction. Even I make all this different art, and my mom says, oh, that's so beautiful. And then I made this, and she was like, oh, girl. Like, there is this pushback to certain things because people don't see it as, they don't see beauty in it. Some people think that art always has to be beautiful. I'm not saying that my mom, I'm just saying it was weird to her. It was strange. And I was like, well, that's a part of art. At least I got a reaction from you. At least you don't understand, or, it's strange to you and off-putting. I was like, that's very good. So I've served my purpose. And I know that my struggle will be off-putting. One thing that I struggle with as an artist is sharing myself and translating who I am in real life onto the screen, because there is a persona that I have. There is a personality that I have that is very surface level, but, and it's fun and it's lively and it's happy-go-lucky, and I'm always bubbly and I'm always very animated. And this is how I am because I like to be this way. And people will say, oh, you're so this, you're so that. And sometimes they really, really love you. Sometimes people don't like you. The same people are not supposed to be so nice. Whatever. I think it's beautiful to be able to reveal yourself as you truly are, but it's not always accepted. It's very beautiful, but it's very niche. And everybody is not going to get it, and everybody is not going to understand. But the point is not understanding. The point is to be impactful. Even if people have to learn, even if people have to step back and take a look at themselves and say, why is this bothering me? Why is this strange to me? I think that's what's truly beautiful, is not when you can relate to everybody, but when you can kind of force people to think about things and look deeper within themselves to see, okay, like, and that's what I want to inspire. This piece was, again, a piece for me, but I shared it because, I saw this thing on Instagram and I was like, wow, that really resonates with me. Even if it doesn't resonate with anybody else, I think it's so beautiful. Even to acknowledge the placenta, because it's not, I live in the United States of America, and we're not all organ people. We are kind of like the good meat, the nice pieces. And then when you see people from other cultures, they have this this thing where I have to use all the parts. I have to honor this thing. Even literally when people are consuming things, they in America, we like everything to be pretty and nice. We like to see the green grass and the white picket fence, and we like to sell dreams to people and sell images to people and celebrity. And you can have all these hopes and dreams of success, and then people coming out at the Met Gala and everything's beautiful and everything's nice. We don't like to see who toiled and tilled. We don't like to acknowledge that there's a team of so many tens of hundreds of people behind other people that look like they're the face of everything. We don't like to see that, this person, even the face of something, went through all these different struggles and this is who they are. We like to have dangerous expectations of people. We like to hold people in higher esteem than we are. And then, even if we start involving race and gender and different things like that, it's a whole nother story, because we're having this idea of certain people as superwoman, or people who are supposed to just be perfect, and not acknowledging that these people have different backgrounds and different stories. And we're a culture obsessed with storytelling, but often leaving parts out. unless you want to be very sensational, because people are very nosy, and then they'll start prying into everything, and they want to know everything and why and how this happened. And we don't always get to see people's backstories. Or then if their backstories come out, it's got to be in a tell-all book. I plan to write a tell-all story one day. Or it's got to be, in a memoir or autobiography, or somebody's got to make a Netflix unauthorized documentary about you and your life and all these crazy things that they're speculating that happen, and all their theories. And sometimes it can be very daunting to put yourself out there. But even if no one else knows your story, I hope you know that all that amalgamation of things, all those puzzle pieces, all that struggle, all that, practice that you did for 10 years, for 20 years, all that dedication that you had makes your triumph all the better, makes your success all the better. And you shouldn't feel like if you hit a wall or something happens and it doesn't seem like everything's aligning perfectly, that it's not possible. I think we all have a story in our own way that's important to share, and, to inspire somebody else and give someone else hope, or even to just encourage us to keep going. Like, I've been through worse than this. I'm going to make it out the other side just fine. Just an encouragement to yourself. So that's what I was doing with this little crazy placenta project with this umbilical cord. And I'm not finished. I have more membrane to add to here. But this, I love seeing this. Sometimes I have things that pop up on my feed that, are very irrelevant. But as I like music, and creators that want their audience to be other creators as opposed to just fans. Because it really shows me that I'm aligned with the right path. And even if things aren't going how I think they will go, sometimes we are always say whatever you feel, even if you think it's going to be off-putting to people, or people are going to be confused by it. If you are inspired to say something, or something's on your heart, let it out, let it go. And this is NuJaxx. I don't know if you can see this. This is NuJaxx. But I encourage you to find your placenta. Not literally, but look inside of yourself and remember your placenta. Remember all the things, good, bad, and ugly, that made you who you are right now. And know that you have all the pieces and the tools and the talents that you need in order to take you to your next level. And many of them are within you. Okay? All right, that's been LeNoira.
They said I'm going somewhere, I know I'm right here, the light here. Today from night here, I smile and they glare, my dream, they nightmare.